in your countries. And I'm thinking in particular for the support of EU and Eastern Partnership countries are stronger today than a focus on connectivity in the broader sense, very much in the EU, but also shared.
I'm really very grateful to Martin because Poland and Sweden have been leading conceptually the Eastern Partnership. They have been at the inception of the Eastern Partnership. We are taking stock. I think the important thing that we had an opportunity to talk about it earlier today, but the important, to us, the important contribution of the Eastern Partnership is a conceptual challenge of the way in which we see Europe. Eastern Partnership is part of the neighborhood policy. Is it neighborhood to Europe or it is part of Europe? Is it the eastern flank of Europe? This is what we prefer to see. This is what we prefer to see as the important additional multilateral platform in which we, the representatives of 6 countries to the east of Europe, on the eastern flank of Europe, working with the European Union, its member states, and also, of course, this is an auxiliary to what we're doing bilaterally with the European Union. The next 10 years, they have their set of challenges. Their set of challenges because we have to admit we're living in a changing world. We're living in a changing world in which we have been claiming that the most important sticking point in Eastern Partnership is common shared values. Common shared values, in our understanding, is the way in which we perceive our societies in terms of democracy, human rights, the rule of law. The extent to which we will continue to keep this Eastern Partnership on this foundation is a very important objective for the next 10 years. And the idea, in fact, quite a few ideas that concur in our proposals for in this ongoing structured consultations about the next 10 years, the idea of 10% of funds to deep democracy is something to be supported. As much as making it more visible, more tangible to the people. Democracy, human rights, rule of law are not words. These are very tangible ideas, very tangible things which are supported by institutions. We are a country which has experienced a very important velvet revolution of April, May 2018. One important thing is that it didn't happen out of the blue. It was a process of capacity in the public, institutional capacity, capacity of the public institutions, capacity of the civil society to come up to a level that was made possible. But it had a longer history of mistakes, tripping, and so on and so forth. This is where the European Union also had a very important role to play. Sustaining that process, supporting, helping the public institutions, the public, the civil society, strengthening the capacities to what we have experienced. We have shown the political will, the power of the political will, that with political will you can tackle certain problems in the society head on. We also know, like we had with anti-corruption, while we have just shown that it is possible to have elections in Armenia which are accepted by the public, accepted by all political forces. It was the power of the political will. The same concerned anti-corruption. The same concerned many other issues. The biggest thing we have in the country today is the judicial reform. But also realizing that this is not enough. Political will is good, important enough, but not enough. That you have to institutionally consolidate what you're aiming at. That you are driven by the public demand, you have to make sure that this is sustainable irrespective of the political will. So this is where, again, I think this common space in which we work towards the meat and blood of what we declare as shared values, not as shallow words, but as real institutional capacity. The common space of Europe is shared values. I would want to be very short. There are too many things to say. But I would certainly want to also not to occupy space, and given that we're in the parliament, and I'm very privileged to be with my good representative, and very proud that we have 2 representatives of the parliament, and both of them are women. And this is also very much a priority, a very big priority in Armenia, in the Eastern Partnership, amongst amongst all our partners, and we just found out with, no, we didn't find out. We have just sketched out the way in which with Sweden we will continue working together on issues of the role of women in our societies, as much as youth and so on, but women in particular. So I don't want to occupy more space and rather make sure that there is space for my good colleague in the parliament. They grill me a lot in the parliament, but now we sit together and I want her to speak as much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.